Hello everyone, my name is Joe Hardesty, and I am the Library Director of the National Society of the Sons of the American Revolution located in Louisville, Kentucky. It's April 1st, it's day 15, I think, of self-isolation, and we are all absolutely hip deep now in this coronavirus pandemic. If you're anxious, or scared, or depressed, or angry, because of this microscopic threat to our way of life, you are not alone. The latest news reports from the CDC in Atlanta indicates that we have a long way to go yet before we can declare victory. Yet this killer virus has already affected us all to one degree or another. We have family members or friends who are nurses and doctors and first responders. These people are heroes, one and all. We know people who have lost their jobs and have bills to pay. We have children and grandchildren we cannot hug and kiss, and worst of all, there are people, some we know, who are fighting for their very life in overcrowded hospitals. In December of 1776, Thomas Paine said, "These are times that try men's souls." Paine and our ancestors lived during the American Revolution and survived to tell about it. British troops weren't the only enemy our patriot ancestors had to fight. They also had to fight malnutrition, the collapse of the economy, the temptation to hoard and price gouge, and lots of fear-producing rumors. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? Life in America during the Revolution was filled with uncertainty. At the time, nobody was sure when or if the curve would begin to flatten out. By learning the stories of our ancestors, we connect the past with the present. So, we're practicing the importance of social distancing. We're washing our hands frequently and getting exercise. We've washed our car, we've cleaned out the garage, and finished the latest novel of our favorite author. Now is also the perfect time to call the oldest member of our family, and not just to check up on them. Well, that's certainly important to do. Why not also take this time to ask them questions that you keep forgetting to ask? Mom, what was life like for you and your family during the Second World War? What do you remember about that war? What kind of music did you and Dad like to listen to before you were married? Tell me about the day when I came into the world. What was your favorite memory you have when you were a little girl? What was life like during the Cuban Missile Crisis? Did you really go to Woodstock? What gifts did you and your family give and receive during the holidays growing up? These kinds of questions can be asked of Dad too, and any older member of your extended family. The important thing is to ask open-ended questions, and by doing so, invite your family member to walk down memory lane with you and just listen. Don't be surprised when after you hang up the phone or disconnect from Skype, you'll come up with more questions to ask. There's always tomorrow. To learn about the life of our deceased relatives and ancestors, we turn to the wonderful world of genealogy. Online sites like Ancestry.com, FamilySearch.org, and of course, SAR.org are great to learn the facts of who and what, when and where of our ancestors. But to become a family historian, you'll want to take time to look deeper and read between the lines of census records and obituaries. birth, death, and marriage records, also known as vital records, and military records, just to name a few. What heartache was endured by a family when, according to a passenger ship manifest, 7 brave souls boarded a ship bound for America and only 5 disembarked? What did a family survive, or how did a family survive if, according to a widow's pension record, 2 members of the same family died at the Battle of Antietam? How did an ancestor graduate from high school and go on to college when, according to an 1880 agricultural census, his family had 30 cows to milk by hand every day? When you begin to look much deeper into easily accessible records such as these, the family historian begins to see that the only way our ancestors and our country endured hardship and great calamity was by making incredible sacrifices for the greater good. If you and I were to trace our family genealogies back in time far enough, and broadly enough to include our great aunts and uncles, we would see that we are all distant cousins to one another. We are one big family. In addition to the names and dates, and places and events of our ancestors, we have the opportunity to discover and honor the great sacrifices they made on our behalf. I can work from home. I can shelter in place. I can have groceries delivered to my door. And I can FaceTime with my grandchildren because of the cumulative sacrifices our ancestors, yours and mine, have made. For those of you who are putting your life at risk every day as a result of COVID-19, I wish to express my sincere thanks, and I pray for your health and safety. You are every bit my hero, as was my 6th great-grandfather who fought in the American Revolution. Whether our enemy is seen or unseen, remember that we are all family. And while these are trying times, it is our patriotic duty to stay safe, to take precautions, and to take good care of one another. Goodbye.